Right, so we're on Submarine. This is a winner's bracket game between KuperMeister and Biran, I think, but I don't think they're yeah. So Ice Wolf and KuperMeister. Ice Wolf is Biran, isn't it? Biran, I believe. So let's zoom out. We'll get some stuff on the go here. We're looking at KuperMeister in the bottom right of Submarine. Ice Wolf as Protoss up in the top left. Straight off the bat, I don't like the pylon position. That's going to enable you to build. Oh no, I don't like the gateway position either. So yeah, you want to be able to seal this top ramp. So what? And you're not a Terran, so you can't have buildings that lift off or slot up and down. So what you need is to leave a 1 hex gap. Now that is a 1 hex gap, but you're going to need a second building in here to close the top of the ramp, and that's going to be out of range of the pylon. So that's why I don't like the placement. That means that KuperMeister can get lings in. KuperMeister's opening looks very straight. Hold on. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm getting deafened by the music here. Where are we? Music volume. Shut up, music volume. Let's try that. That's better. Yeah, Coop's opening build looks very, very standard. Hatch first, we've got the gas, we've got the pool coming. Second gas, not sure about. Maybe it's going to be a roach build or something like that. There's not many builds for Zerg where you need to drop that second gas. I would normally suggest you don't need more gas until you've got your third hatchery going down, and once the third hatchery goes down and I start to saturate that's when I would drop all the gas. So interested to see what this guy's up to. It looks like Ice Wolf is planning some sort of proxy. There goes the pylon. Looking at what's in the main base, no tech yet in the main base, so you'd expect to see a Stargate here. Although I don't know why the worker's over here. To be fair, it could be a proxy robo, and I wouldn't mind that either. You get the robo over here, get an oracle out. An oracle, what am I talking about? A warp prism out with a couple of immortals, and you get them up in here, and you can warp in some stalkers and stuff to give support, or even shield batteries and that type of thing. This guy is going to die before he gets to the high ground, so that is a little disappointing, but didn't die before Coop was able to see the timing on this expo and also saw that there was a couple of stalkers out. So, got some information in exchange for that. The lair comes down and the roach warrant is finished, so it does look like it's going to be a big roach build. One of the key things to a roach build, roaches seem cheap. They're not as cheap as they seem because they're a couple of supply each. For every 4 roaches you need to build an overlord as well, so that does eat into your larva, and it eats into the mineral cost of the roaches. So a pretty standard thing to do if you are going for a big roach build is to free up a bunch of supply first. But will there be opportunity to do this? Ice Wolf is going to come in here with a reasonable number of stalkers. Now lings, the micro isn't great though. You don't want to be trying to shoot the queen. Queens, they've just got so much health. You want it to be focusing down the roaches. You can see how much quicker those roaches fall. So the roaches are doing more hurt and they're quicker to shoot than the queens. So yeah, unfortunate decision making there, because actually there was a reasonable number of stalkers. 6 stalkers could have traded pretty well there, but in the end didn't do great. Now stalkers in general are not great against lings, but they do pretty well against roaches. So this in more of a just standing still fight, but this time there's enough roaches, I think, and with the quicker reinforcements from Coop, I think Coop is going to be able to clean this up. He is going to lose all the queens though, and that's really going to stymie production. So I don't know, maybe if Ice Wolf just continues to push up at this stage, maybe he can win this. Coming in here, and I don't know about focusing the hatchery. Kill the roaches, kill the things that are killing you first. So I feel like he could have killed those roaches and lost far fewer stalkers if he hadn't have been working on that hatchery. There's more stalkers coming in. Is there going to be enough for Coop to be able to hold this off? It looks like just about, with the queen coming up, defender's advantage, more stalkers coming in. I'd like to see some lings coming out, but is speed done? It is. So actually lings would make a better defense against these stalkers. The stalkers do pretty well against the roaches, as mentioned. This is going to be tight, but I feel like Coop's going to have, look, there's idle larva here. I feel like he's going to be able to hold this off. And in the end, that felt expensive. You know, stalkers cost a lot more than roaches do. So let's have a quick look at the units lost tab. It was expensive for the Protoss, so you can see fewer units lost, but in terms of resources, quite a lot more. And only 2 workers killed. So, you know, all this effort hasn't actually stymied the economy of the Zerg, and the Zerg is still going to be able to just accelerate and kind of pull away from the Protoss once the 3rd and the 4th go down. Honestly, I'd be inclined to drop them both at once at this point. There's a lot of money in the bank, and you just need extra hatcheries to be able to spend that. This is actually almost too many Ravagers, but in the end, you know, this push is tailing off pretty quickly. So Ice Wolf, a reasonable push there, but some unfortunate decision making with what to shoot at. You know, damage on a hatchery. If you kill the hatch, great, but you didn't. So damage on a hatch gets you nothing. And similarly, you know, focusing on the queen in the early stages just wasn't what you wanted to be aiming at. I feel that could have been a game clincher had the units just been controlled in a slightly different way. So a little unfortunate there for Ice Wolf. You know, it's easier for me to say all that stuff than it is for someone to actually play it. It takes a long time of playing StarCraft before, you know, before your decision making is in any way flawless. I wouldn't claim for an instant that mine ever is. But yeah, it looks to me like the counter punch here from KuperMeister, is going to end this game. There just isn't enough here. And with the Ravagers, don't use your corrosive piles on a building, because now you've used them up. You know, you've got to wait for them to recharge before you can fire again. A bit slow on the pullback there from Ice Wolf, and I think it's over. There's just too much DPS from all of these roaches. Did he just like? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just corrosed his own units there. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe Ice Wolf can hold on for a little while longer. But if you look at the production tab, there's no units in production. At least there wasn't for Ice Wolf. But there are way more roaches going to be coming across the map momentarily. And I think at this point, with 3 hatcheries up and producing, that there is a strong likelihood now that there's no mining happening here, with only 8 workers mining here, no money left in the bank for our Protoss. I think the next wave of roaches just ends this. Let's take a quick look. The army supply is just overwhelming. Where are those roaches? Here they are. So I think it's just an A-click across the map at this point. And that will be the end of our Protoss. Yeah, and it could have gone different. The charge is a useful upgrade. Immortals are what you need coming out here to deal with these roaches. Immortals are great against roaches. They're the go-to sort of Protoss unit to build against roach. But you know, the supplies tell the story here. This engagement will finish our Protoss player, I'm sure. So while this final engagement looks one-sided, let's not forget that it was borderline, and Ice Wolf there is just going to die on this ramp here. That's not a fight you can take. Couple of sentries, maybe you could have held this out and bought yourself enough time to get Immortals out and maybe hold on. But yeah, as I was saying, let's just remember that actually this was an incredibly close game. With Ice Wolf almost very nearly breaking KuperMeister in the early stages. You know, at one point there was no roaches left, there was only queens to defend, and I believe all the queens fell too, so it was just a case of waiting for the roaches to come out. There's various ways you can deal with that. You know, if you get on top of the hatcheries, then you can, you know, the roaches as they come out, you can focus on the roaches from one hatchery before the roaches from the other hatch join up with them, stuff like that. But yeah, in the end, it is KuperMeister that goes 1-0 up. GG.